Welcome to Wednesday's Word of Wisdom. We're talking about testimonies. Come on back and see what we've got for you. And we're back. So last week we had a special guest and she talked about how freeing it was to share her testimony, to share what God has delivered her from. And so it got us thinking, I don't think many of you know our testimonies and how we came to know the Lord and some of the things the Lord has brought us through. So we decided that we would share today. So David, let's start with you. Share with our friends and viewers what your testimony is.
Okay, I've been in church as long as I can remember. My mother made sure of that. Sometimes, of course, it was kind of kicking and screaming. You know, we heard the story, drug babies. We were drugged to church every time the doors were open. But I thank God that He allowed me to go to church and stay in church and never had a break in there. Granted, the church I grew up in, there was differences of doctrine and differences of theology, especially the more I studied the Bible, and hence the reason why I'm not there anymore. But through that, even with going to church, I mean, we all struggle with things. We all have our bent, as Bishop says. And I went through a lot growing up. I'm not going to go into detail, but I went through a lot of stuff as a child, as a teenager, that still haunt me sometimes to today. But I know that God can. He is already working in me. Through those things, He's helping me forgive, which is really hard, especially some of the stuff I went through. Forgiveness is not always easy, but it's freeing, and I thank God that He's bringing me into that level of forgiveness that I need to be. And then it was through church and through what God has brought me through. One, I learned to play music. I'm actually a trumpet player. I learned that first, to taught myself piano, all this stuff through the music programs of former church. So that is where that came from. So if any of you didn't know any of that, that's where I came from. Biblically, most of what I learned has been recent. I learned a little bit as a child and teenager, but it was skewed to the truth. A lot of the stuff we know biblically and theologically, as in like the spirit movement and all this stuff, I didn't know. We weren't taught that stuff. The church didn't practice baptism. So it was these little things, and God saw fit. He's like, I'm going to use you despite you not knowing this stuff beforehand. You know it now. And I think it's Miss Shirley, she always says, once you know, you can't unknow. So once we know, we have to speak it. We have to tell it. So that's where I'm from. How about you?
All right, great. Yes, so I'll give you guys a little teaser, and then next week I'll dive fully into my story. But yes, I was born and raised in Jamaica to wonderful parents, and my father is to this day still a preacher, a pastor of a church. Grew up in the church, and just like David said, when the doors were open, we were there. So we had that similar background. I'm the oldest of four, so there was a natural drive within me to be perfect, right? There's a natural drive within me to always fall in line and follow the rules. So that was kind of a little bit of my story until one day when I decided I was done. I didn't want to follow the rules anymore. But I'll tell you guys more about that next time. All right, well, what's your story? Drop us a line in the comment. Let's hear how you came to know the Lord. What has the Lord brought you through? Until next time, God bless you and goodbye.